it. Ready, Billy. Yeah, get out of the tape. Line is good.
Juggler is flying late. Sprint by wins the Doncaster. You couldn't have written the script any better than that. And Merlin is going to score a magnificent win in the slipper.
G'day folks, welcome to the Racing Show. Gee, it's lovely to have your company on this Sunday. And we've got a great show lined up for you. Shortly, a full replay of one of the world's most famous Group 1 races, the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes, run overnight out time at Royal Ascot. We'll be welcoming live from Melbourne later in the show, Brian Mayfield-Smith, who's out of Africa. He's back in Australia and getting his career together in no mean order. And after a few weeks of separation, we've got the panel back together again. Now, Simon,
we're happy to be here, all three of us, the three stooges.
You mightn't be when I give you this bagging. Last week you introduced a new tipping concept called the Dark Mail. Now, Shane and I both doubted the credentials, and we were spot on. It was an absolute flop.
Was it? Yes. Well, I'd probably have to agree with that. It was quite a flop, and there we are. Rest in peace, the Dark Mail. It lasted a day, which I think
How'd
probably...
the two horses go?
One ran third, the other one ran down the track. So it wasn't a bad effort, but I must admit it's been an emotional, tough week because I was rung up by one of the hierarchy here at Channel 9 who will remain nameless, and he said, please leave the ideas to those who are capable of having them.
Yeah.
What do you think he's saying about me?
Shut up shop.
Yeah.
Not subtle though, is it?
I will come back. I shan't be daunted. I will come back.
Hey, Shane, I've got to thank you for Golf Circuits. I know you think a lot of my tips, and you were well aware that was one of my specials yesterday, Golf Circuits.
She ran really, really well. You just got to ride her quiet and let her get back and find the line, and it was a good win.
OK, the King George VI and Queen Elizabeth Stakes, Group 1, 2,400 metres for 3-year-olds and upwards. A race billed by the experts in Europe as the race of the decade, and why wouldn't it be with the big three? There's one of them, Helisio. Ridden by Cash Asmussen, winner of 8 of his 10 starts, including last year's Arc de Triomphe. Pilsudski, ridden by Michael Kinane, winner of the Breeders' Cup Turf and the recent Eclipse Stakes, and completing the trilogy, Sing Spiel, Frankie Dettori, winner of the Japan Cup and the Dubai World Cup, and he went into this race with a truly magnificent record. Now, the runners are moving into the starting stalls. A field of only 8. Sheikh Mohammed had 4 of them. And one of the last to go in Sheikh Mohammed's well-known maroon and white colours with Frankie Dettori on board is Singspiel, calling his last King George, Sir Peter O'Sullivan.
And they're away, and who's going to make the early running? Pilsudski is up there early on. Pilsudski now overtaken by Helisio, and Helisio's gone on. Helisio going on from Swain in second, then comes Kingfisher Mill, then Pilsudski on the inside, and then Sing Spiel. And Perdapio has been dropped back to last by Gary Stevens, and Cash Asmussen is going to ensure a blazing pace. Kingfisher Mill has gone up now to almost join him, and in fact he's taken it up. He's run a little bit wide there, Pat, looking for the better ground, and Kingfisher Mill has taken it off Helisio, just checked slightly now by Cash Asmussen. Then in third is Swain, 4 is Pilsudski moving up on the inside. Just in behind them comes Strategic Choice and Chantou towards the outside. Still the back marker is Perdapio, and Kingfisher Mill, the only 3-year-old in the race under Pat Eder, is the leader from Helisio. Then comes Swain, then towards the outside is Chantou, on the inside is Singspiel. Then come Pilsudski, making ground on the inner. Towards the far side as we see them now is Perdapio, but they're coming over under the trees, and it's still Pat Eder taking him along on the 3-year-old. They pass the 6 marker there, but he's gone up to join him again, Helisio, and Helisio just shading Kingfisher Mill now. These two really having a ding-dong upsides. In third is Pilsudski, travelling well. Over on the far side is Swain, the rider with the white cap. Just in behind them, Singspiel. Just in behind Singspiel comes Chantou. Perdapio, one of the back markers with Strategic Choice, and now it's Helisio who has taken it up as they race towards the home turn. Helisio, the leader from Swain, is in second. Pilsudski third on the far rail. Making ground from the rear now is Chantu, but on the inside it's Singspiel who's fourth, and it's Alisio the leader. Alisio from Swain as they race towards the 3-furlong marker. Alisio's under pressure. Swain has come to tackle him. Singspiel's coming there on the outside. Pilsudski's joining in it too. They're racing now towards the furlong marker, and as they do so, it's Swain over on the far rail. Singspiel coming there. Alisio is beat. Swain is the leader as they race into the closing stages. It's Swain from Pilsudski in second. Singspiel is third. It's Swain holding Pilsudski as they race up towards the line. Swain and Pilsudski in a nail-biting finish. Swain is going to win it at the line. Swain is the winner. Pilsudski in second. Alisio is third. Singspiel 4. 5 came Chantu. 6 was Strategic Choice, then Perdapio, and Kingfisher Mill, believe it or not, finished last of the 8 runners. And
as I said, Sheikh Mohammed had 4 of the 8. Now, the winner was ridden by John Reid. He's been around for a long, long time, Shane. He looks tallish, he rides very short, and probably looks a little bit awkward. What did you think?
Yeah, a lot of the jockeys in England do look awkward when they're on a horse, but that's the way they ride. I'm amazed at the track, how they go from the inside to the outside, back to the inside. We don't see that in Australian racing.
And you would get confused, because at one stage you'd be parked 1 off the fence, and the next thing you'd wonder where you were, because you'd be 6 off the park.
You'd have to go across to the other side, but it would be fantastic to ride there in a race like that.
Yeah.
But I thought Alisio ran really well because he pulled very hard,
Yeah,
John.
he over-raced.
He over-raced, and he did all the donkey work in front. And then he looked beat at the 400 metres and was going to run about 5th or 6th, and he fought back to run 3rd. And I thought his run was still very good.
Well, the BBC caught up with some of the jockeys immediately after the King George, commencing with the rider of the winner, John Reid.
Well, John, many, many congratulations. What a race.
Fantastic race, Julian. It's the race of the century, and I can't believe I've won it. I'm absolutely delighted.
Well, now, what was your battle plan before you went out?
Well, they didn't really toss down to orders. He said, the horse is in great form. He said, do as you want. And I said, I'd be happy to bounce him out, and I think they'll go outside. And I want to be up there rolling along, because I didn't want to be riding for speed from behind. There's too many horses over too much speed. So I just let him bowl. Pat and Alicia have taken it off me, but we were rolling pretty quick, and I was quite happy just to sit behind Pat. And he gave me a nice lead until he cracked just before the turn. And from there, I knew he was strong, and I let him go, you know, and they had to come and catch me.
Well, Mick, how did it go for you?
Yeah, it went good. Michael has done everything right, and he just got into a bit of a slog, and I just dragged it out of him a bit. And he loves a little ease, but he doesn't want it too soft, because like he gets 1.5 miles, but that's as far as he goes. And it just dragged it out of, dragged the speed out of him a bit.
Yep, Michael Kinane, who rode Pilsudski. Interesting to note, he said Pilsudski can barely get 1.5 miles. OK, we're going to a break now on The Racing Show. Back after this.
The best sport and racing. There's only one radio station that delivers. Canberra's Good Sports 103.9 Triple S FM. Join the Good Sports each weekday morning from 6 and start your day with the right mix of sport, talk, music and fun. If you want that winning feeling, be part of the National Racing and Sporting Services 103.9 Triple S FM takes you racing across Australia from midday, where you won't miss a thing. The best sport and racing on Canberra's Good Sports 103.9 Triple S FM.
Just love a man who can't pronounce his S's.
Oh, sweet! I've already ordered one of those new garlic and herb stuffed crusts. There's a delicious ring of soft cheese in the rim, along with some garlic and herbs. Simply supreme. Oh, resistance is useless.
A Pizza Hut stuffed super supreme.
Oh, suffering. Oh, he's kidding.
Is there no depth he won't sink to, this man? And what about his lovely wife at home? Paul Helen's sitting at home and got a...
But it's probably good for every bloke in Australia because it gives them hope.
Oh, he's lost any credibility he may have had. He just lost it.
He hadn't backed a winner all the week, but he got the girl and the feature, so he killed him. And what about the acting ability? It was like Harrison Ford, that lovely lay-back style, wasn't it?
The knock on the door.
He did his first film at 87.
Do you remember back in the autumn, everybody was talking about a 2-year-old colt called Schubert, which had no luck at all in the Blue Diamond. He went for a spell after that. Yesterday, he came back in the Dermody Stakes at Cheltenham, a weight-for-age race for 2- and 3-year-olds. Watch the right side of screen. Robert Sangster's colours. He's last away. You want to mend that habit?
I think it is part... You know, you're right in saying it's a habit, John. I mean, he did it in the Blue Diamond. He was hunted up to get up there. Now, yesterday, he wasn't actually hunted. He was let find his feet a little. But he is now really being started to pressure 400 or 500 metres out to say, come on, son, show us the ability you've got. Now, his last 50 metres was his best, and he's still here getting pushed up along the rail. He finds the gap. The winner's pretty smart. Be Discreet is a well-performed horse. You know, 10 starts for 7 or 8 wins. There's nothing wrong with her performances.
Here is a horse they were touting as a golden slipper horse. He's racing more like a miler or beyond, isn't he, Shane?
He's bred to get over a bit of ground. I wouldn't be too worried. I thought realistically he might have been a little bit disappointing, but when you see he missed the start so far, he's just looking for a mile. And also, Brent Thompson this week moves down to Melbourne to ride for Peter Hayes, so he'll be there doing most of his riding over the carnival.
And don't forget, that's run number 3 for Schubert. I mean, it takes jockeys and trainers a while to really know exactly what their horse is all about. So it's still a learning experience, I'm sure. He's a quality horse.
We forgot the filly. Very good filly.
Oh, of course it is. I mentioned it before.
7 out of 10.
You want to listen a bit harder.
Well,
okay,
the 2 best horses at Randwick yesterday didn't start in a registered race. They started in an exhibition gallop. The rising 4-year-old Unison and the rising 3-year-old Encounter. Shane on Encounter on the outside. Lenny Beasley is on Unison. Shane, I couldn't believe they broke 48 for the 800. You looked to walk off the mark.
They did, but the last 600 they really flew, and they ran 33, and he worked very well Encounter. He just got a little bit tired and lost hair, and he needed the gallop, but Unison worked very, very well. She's a very good mare. She ran 3rd in the Galaxy, and Encounter runs Saturday week in the San Domenico, 1,000 metres, and he'll run very well.
That mare has furnished enormously, hasn't she?
Oh, she'll be hard to beat in any sprint she lines up, and she's going enormous. And as I said, she did run 3rd in a Galaxy.
Shane, a quick look at the furniture of an Encounter. Has he thickened, or he was a leggy colt as a 2-year-old, still the same?
I thought as a 2-year-old he's a little bit lean and weak and behind, but he has strengthened up. I don't think he's grown an awful lot, but he's put on that extra weight, which has just filled him out, Simon.
Yeah, you wouldn't swap him for anything else at this stage?
Not at this stage. Not at this stage.
Simon, Moonee Valley yesterday, the Hiskin steeplechase, and one of your favourite horses prevailed again.
Yes, I don't know about my favourite, or it's become my favourite probably after the jumping season, but Palace Symphony did a great job. But firstly, let's have a look at the fall now. That we're right in the midst of the jumping season, of course. Now, the grey on the outside, Mogul, you see Craig Heditch's jockey, landed awkwardly. Now, watch him here. This is a great bit of horsemanship. He wants to continue in the race. He's hanging on, hanging on, hanging on. He's around the neck. He's got a bit of the breastplate. He's got a bit of everything at the moment, trying to get back in the saddle. Eventually, it just doesn't work, and Craig will come to grief and say, no, I'm not going to try anymore. I'm just going to have a bit of a roll around on the Moonee Valley turf. There he is there, and he's jumped straight to his feet, a very disappointed young man, but really you couldn't take anything away from Palace Symphony. He's now a genuine racehorse. I think people on the flat were saying that he's not genuine. Over the jumps, he's just sensational, and as we go to the break, we'll have a look at him.
Here comes Palace Symphony. Palace Symphony with a great run around the outside. The Grand National winner is coming after these 2 leaders. He's going great gunners, and he's looking like a winner as they make the home turn. Palace Symphony, he's forged to the lead. He loves the valley. Palace Symphony takes the lead from Landowner. Gigabar can't go on at the moment, followed by An Illusion and Best Endeavours as they straighten over. But Palace Symphony has skipped away, looks to have the Hiskins all parcelled up. 1 fence left to jump. He's well out in front of Landowner, who's plugging on. Gigabar back behind the An Illusion. Here's the last jump, and he made a beautiful effort at Palace Symphony. He's a great horse, and Palace Symphony, though, they're switching the tail a bit. He's far too good. Great performance. Palace Symphony wins it. Good game for second.
Snippets had shot clear, coming to the 200 mark. Christmas Tree is out after him, battling on strongly. Tasman Dancer at the head of the others. Rancho Ruler. Snippets is weakening. Christmas Tree coming at him with Tasman Dancer. Now marauding. Lygon Arms and further out boasting. What a finish coming up. It's Lygon Arms and Marauding. Marauding won the slipper. Marauding by a nose to Lygon Arms.
You said all along that he was a champion. Yeah, well, you know, I'm still a little bit in shock at the moment because I lost the horse in the run down the straight because I'm not used to the colours, and then all of a sudden I seen him coming, and I thought, God, this is going to win.
10 years ago, by gee, a lot of water has flowed under the bridge since then for Brian Mayfield Smith, including a 2-year stint in Africa. Brian, you went there in the autumn of 1995, and I believe for the first half of that time you drove 1 million miles, familiarising yourself with the country, the culture and the language.
Yeah, well, it felt like that, John, but it was very enjoyable and very interesting, and you know, we had a great time. We had a lot of difficulties in that, but that's Africa, and we knew what we were in for because we'd been there 6 times before, and but no, it was a great experience.
Brian, what was the actual project you had in mind when you went over there? What was the mission?
Well, basically what we wanted to do is just become involved with rhino and elephant conservation work, and we were prepared to live off our own funds from home. This is a black rhino at Solio Ranch near Mount Kenya. They're white rhino, those ones there. There's about 60-odd rhino there, and it was one of the first rhino conservation projects in Kenya, and it's been very successful.
Brian, you're so close, you're taking that footage. I mean, how was the fear? I mean, surely those animals are quite daunting.
Well, the thing about it is, I mean, that's part of the fun of Africa is sort of, this is a great shot. I mean, this baby calf, the mother's laid down especially so he can feed. And, you know, I mean, it's just part of the excitement of Africa, really, to sort of get on the ground with the animals and sort of be ready for something to happen and basically run.
Brian, when did you realise you wanted to come home?
I think it was sort of towards the end of our safari. We'd done about 5.5 months. We'd gone through 9 African countries, southern and east African countries in the back of the Land Rover, or living out of the back of the Land Rover. And I said to Marie, you know, I was very frustrated because I'd given up so much, and I needed to succeed so badly, and but I said to Marie, except for the animals and the excitement of the bush, I just can't see any positives about this place. And if we throw our lot in here, given 5 years or so, we're going to be ineffective and probably broke, and we're not going to be any good to ourselves and our ideals, let alone the animals. So we had to get real and come home. But even when we did come home, it took me about 4 months to really get over it and make up my mind what I wanted to do. And I decided then to stick to what I know and what worked for me, and I decided to come back into racing.
2 weeks ago at Flemington, you relaunched your career in a blaze of glory. You couldn't have written the script any better than to see Rye Hero win that race down the straight by a big margin.
Yes, John, I mean, you can plan for things in racing. I'll just let this run through.
Oh no, tell us about it.
Well, I mean, you can plan for things in racing, and it's great when it comes off, but I mean, racing more so than anything, Murphy's Law usually applies. And for this horse to win so well at Flemington on a Saturday was just a tremendous boost, and a great feeling to feel, well, after 2 years that I've still got it, and and trying to come back to enforce on people's minds that I was back.
Brian, you were based in Sydney. You've won trainers' premierships in Sydney. You've won group races in Sydney. Why did you choose Melbourne?
Well, basically, I mean, life's got to change, and that's what makes it interesting. And I mean, if you look back over my life, that's certainly what's happened for me. And plus the fact that I just felt that Melbourne was more positive, and also the big races, there's a few big races here that have eluded me, and I thought that by being based in Melbourne and having the horses here, it would be just a bit easier to accomplish that, say, over the next 20 years.
Brian, how many horses do you have in work in Melbourne, and have you got something that all the viewers can follow in the future?
Well, Shane, at the moment I've only got 10, and they're basically all rising 2-year-olds. There's 2 One is a mare called Toomey, who's Sydney owned, and she came out from England in January, and she's going to start at Geelong on Thursday. She's looking pretty good. And I have another horse called Great Condor, who's going very well, but he's an unsound horse, and it's just touch and go whether we get there with him or not.
Brian, it's been a delight having you on the racing show today. Congratulations on that marvellous relaunch of your career last Saturday week, and I know that Rye Heroes win is the forerunner of many, many more to come. Good luck to you.
Thanks, John. It's great to be back.
OK, we take a break on the racing show.
Laminio led around the turn from Northern Emperor, 2 lengths away. Endorsement, Tight Rogue. St. Rautai getting into the clear, followed by Forgotten Hero. Wider out on the track came Corregidor, and Paul's Folly's the widest runner. Coming to the 200, Laminio, Mighty Gold, St. Rautai and Forgotten Hero, but Mighty Gold went to the lead. Mighty Gold in front of Laminio, St. Rautai and Bold Chief, and Mighty Gold's drawing away. Mighty Gold beat Laminio, third Bold Chief, then St. Rautai.
Yeah, Tats Mile in Brisbane, a 3-year-old filly, that winner, Mighty Gold, trained at Toowoomba. She started at 20-1 and ridden by Michael Aspinall.
Yes, I didn't have a scent on her either, which was a little bit hard to take. I was well back in the field, but so be it, John. So be it.
Paul's Folly never had a very good run in the race. He was wide and had to go very wide on the turn, so he could probably forget his run a little bit.
Shane, Magic of Sydney, he resumes next Saturday.
Yeah, he's going really good. He looks $1 million, the horse, and he'll run in the Missile Stakes. He's looking for further, as we all know, so 1100 might be a bit short, but what a race it's going to be. You got horses like Guineas and Spartacus, I think, is coming up from Melbourne. And all the good horses are coming back, John. Emily Grove will trial on Friday, so we're starting to really hot up for a fantastic spring.
Give us a tip.
It's a day, and keep an eye on it, and I'm racking my brain for a lot more ideas for the weeks to come.
Thank you. That horse, Violent, we've been tipping for a few weeks. He's bound to be in next Saturday, and gee, I think there's a race for him in the very near future. Talking about barrier trials, Tuesday morning at Rose Hill, in the same heat, Falonte, Intergaze, King Ivor and Might and Power. We'll report on that next Sunday, folks.